Hi guys, Kim here. Sun Articulate and Speculate, then there be dragons. My dream last night was all about the lower parts of houses that I'm living in collapsing, falling apart, decaying. Upon awakening, I can only feel that it's somehow symbolic of the lower vibrational frequencies collapsing or moving away. As far as the frequencies are concerned, I have contemplated this idea since my return from Atlantis, really, and tried to understand it. I've even speculated with friends that one day we may be able to visit Atlantis, as the being there told me that Atlantis had been there all the time, just our frequency had dropped, as in humanity's frequency, so it was no longer within our range of visibility. Seriously, imagine that. Okay, I'm off to Atlantis for a week, for a holiday, see ya. I have over the years looked deeply into the idea of Shambhalas. Shambhala is a Sanskrit word meaning place of peace or place of silence. It's a mythical paradise spoken of in ancient texts. It's a land of 1,000 names. The Hindus call it Oyavada, the land of the worthy ones, and the Chinese know it as Sui Tian, the western paradise of Sui Wang Mu, and the Russians, believers, know it as Bilovoyad, but throughout Asia it's best known for its Sanskrit name, Shambhala, Shangri-La. The legend of Shambhala is said to date back thousands of years, and reference to mythical land can be found in various ancient texts. Atlantis is also Shambhala, according to what I was told, as is Avalon. The day before I had my dream to Atlantis, I had a dream the previous night where a ball was travelling around my bedroom, and it entered my body at my base chakra and travelled up through my body and burst out of my crown, at which point I sat bolt upright in bed and screamed at the top of my voice, "Mount Shasta!" Now this was back in 2004 when computers and Google was all relatively new. Not even sure if Google was here then. I rushed downstairs to look up Mount Shasta, as I'd never heard of it, and the search I made gave me a list of geographical information, that it was an extinct volcano in California, plus other geographical facts. I was totally unimpressed. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. So at the time, a friend ran a shop in the centre of town selling new agey books and Buddhas and candles and things. So I popped into that shop the next day, and it was one of those shops that had shutters that lifted open to the street, and my friend was not there, but her partner was, and I was asking him if he knew anything about Manchester. Then this mini tornado came up from my right up the street, and it swirled up inside the shop, sending things flying, and it flung a book onto my head. And as I picked the book up off the floor and read the back of it, it explained to me that Mount Shasta was a Shambhala. Needless to say, I bought the book and searched out in the next few weeks any other material that I could find in the meaning of Shambhala and Mount Shasta. That night was the night that I had my dream about Atlantis. And I visited 4 Shambhalas over the next 4 weeks, and Saturday night was like a mini-series of tour guide to Shambhalas. The second in the series I visited Mu, or Lemuria, and the dream was somewhat less significant, as in that nobody spoke to me. So it's very difficult to translate this experience into language upon returning. It was all sensory, but it was very watery, swirling, with people wearing muumuus walking through waist-high deep water, joining in a line doing a conga. It was all very strange. The third in the series actually went to Mount Shasta, and it showed me an ice cave inside of Mount Shasta, and it showed me that it was the seat of the Ascendant Masters, and they all mingled around, introducing themselves to me, telling me of their particular talents and what their specializations were. Now today, it's not really news, but back then, this stuff had barely been heard of. It was just beginning to scratch the surface. One of the things that was relayed to me was that each of these had their own speciality, and that we could call upon them to assist us in any particular field of expertise. I should have written a book about it back then, but then again, if we're going to start talking about the things that we should have done and we didn't, then we're going to be here all night. Some point, I guess, is there is now a load of information out there on the net on the Ascendant Masters and what each one's specialization is. It's very individualistic in relation to how it's so important that we select our own path. So for ethical reasons, all I will say is the avenue is open if you wish to pursue it. Then the 4th place I went to was the Akashic Records. There I experienced something through another's eyes, feeling the associated emotions with it. With the higher vibrations coming into view, a few people on the channels I'm following are talking about dragons coming through the 8-8 portal. I write, okay, so this realm we're living in is the material 3D, but dragons, really? The dragons are generally represented by the elements fire, earth, water and wind. So if we're going to take these dragons coming into our 3D world from a perceptual 3D stance, then it would imply that there was to be more energy output from all of these elements, increased volume. And for those of you who are vibrationally in the frequencies, then do not be remotely surprised if you dream or see a dragon. But if you do see one, then it's unlikely that anyone else will see it, as I think it's right at the top end of the vibrational field of experience where we're sitting right now in August of 2021, and therefore still sits in the loony category for normal conversation. But the higher up we go, the more normalised the meaning will become. Maybe that's what the Game of Thrones series is all about, was getting us used to being okay with dragons in our realm. I feel that they're here as warriors or guides to assist us energetically, to align us and assist us with the transit into the required mindset for the arrival of the sixth sun, plus as our protectors. So don't be surprised if someone has a go at you and suddenly finds themselves on fire or soaked in water. I'm talking mild here, like sparks fly off and burns them. It's symbolic, you see. Would love to hear if you guys are having experiences with this, because as I say, it seems whimsical. It's just that this is the information I'm getting, or that I'm recognising at the moment. The other possibility is that dragons have been known to be associated with comets in times gone by. So maybe it's an omen based on comets, who knows. By all means, adopt your own dragon in your imagination. It might make you feel better. Let me know in comments what sort of dragon it is or what's its name. Mine is a fire dragon called Orion. He only comes up to my waist right now. He's got scales that are fiery orange, yellows and reds dancing through his body. My friend adopted a water dragon. He's blue and he makes twerping noises. And I think he's called Malukia. It's just fun, really. But anything that assists us to cope. Thanks for listening.